Green eyes never belonged to one ancient people. Not the Celts, not the Vikings, and not a forgotten tribe hidden somewhere in Europe. If your eyes are green, they do not prove that you descend from any one of them. But they do carry a genetic story, far older than those names. There is no single green eye gene, and the iris contains no green pigment of its own. DNA did not lead researchers back to one birthplace. It led them into the eye itself. Before researchers could ask who first carried green eyes, they had to solve a more basic contradiction. The first clue appears whenever the lighting changes. A green iris can look vivid in sunlight, muted indoors, gray from one angle, and almost hazel from another. The genes remain the same. What changes is the way light interacts with the iris. The main pigment responsible for human eye color is melanin. Brown eyes generally contain more melanin in the front layers of the iris. Blue eyes contain much less. Green eyes usually fall somewhere between them. They contain enough melanin to absorb part of the incoming light, but not enough to overpower the light scattered by the iris's microscopic structure. Together, these effects create the appearance we call green. The exact shade also depends on how the pigment is distributed. That is why one iris may contain areas of green, gray, and brown, and why the boundary between green and hazel is often difficult to define. Green is not a separate pigment or one perfectly fixed category. It is the visible result of a balance. DNA creates the conditions. Light completes the appearance, and one of the strongest genetic clues was waiting on chromosome 15. The trail led to two genes positioned close together, OCA2 and HERC2. OCA2 plays an important role in the production and storage of melanin, but part of its activity is controlled from nearby. Inside HERC2 is a regulatory region that works like a dimmer switch. Certain variants in this region can reduce how strongly OCA2 is expressed, generally resulting in less melanin in the iris. The switch does not choose blue, green, or gray. It changes how much pigment is produced. The HERC2-OCA2 region strongly influences the broad difference between lighter and darker eyes, especially among people with European ancestry. But it does not act alone. Many additional genetic regions influence melanin production, pigment distribution, and the structure of the iris. Their smaller effects help place an eye somewhere along the spectrum from blue through green and hazel to brown. Researchers now understood how green eyes could become possible. What they still lacked was a date, and the only evidence capable of providing one belonged to people who had been dead for thousands of years. Bones cannot preserve the color of an eye, but they can sometimes preserve the DNA that helped create it. In 2023, researchers analyzed 356 ancient hunter-gatherer genomes from Western and Central Eurasia, spanning approximately 35,000 to 5,000 years ago. Among several Western and Northern European hunter-gatherer populations living after roughly 14,000 years ago, the major light eye-associated variant near HERC2 and OCA2 appeared at frequencies above 90%. Among several Eastern and Southeastern European groups, it was far less common. The genetic foundation for lighter eyes was already ancient, but it was not distributed evenly. That does not mean every carrier had the same eye color. The variant is associated with both blue and green eyes, while other genetic influences help determine the final shade. Ancient DNA reveals what was possible, not an exact portrait. The research also showed that lighter eyes and lighter skin did not always evolve together. Some ancient groups may have combined lighter eyes with darker skin, while others showed the reverse. One conclusion was unavoidable. A major genetic ingredient that can contribute to a green iris today already existed thousands of years before Celtic, Germanic, or Viking identities appeared, but the populations carrying it were about to be transformed twice. The first transformation began around 8,000 years ago. Farming populations with ancestry connected to Anatolia expanded across Europe and encountered long-established hunter-gatherer communities. The result was not one simple replacement. Farmer ancestry became dominant in some regions, while mixing happened more gradually in others. Then, around 5,000 years ago, populations carrying ancestry connected to the Pontic-Caspian steppe expanded westward, adding another major layer to Europe's genetic history. Hunter-gatherer, early farmer, and steppe-related ancestry now existed within the same populations, but in different proportions across Europe. The genetic influences behind eye color survived this enormous reshuffling. The major HERC2 OCA2 variant did not travel as part of one complete green eye package. It entered populations carrying different combinations of smaller pigmentation variants. In each generation, inheritance rearranged them again. Migrations did not invent green eyes. They created new opportunities for ancient genetic influences to meet. The same appearance could emerge in different places whenever the necessary balance formed. So where did that leave the search for the first green-eyed person? At first, the solution appears simple. Find the oldest skeleton carrying the major light eye variant and reconstruct that person's eye color. But the same variant can contribute to both blue and green eyes, and intermediate shades are harder to predict genetically than blue or brown. Only a fraction of the people who once lived left remains from which usable DNA can be recovered. Even then, parts of the genome may be damaged or missing. The oldest known carrier is therefore not necessarily the first. And even a nearly complete genome cannot reconstruct the exact appearance of an iris. The same eye might be described as green, gray-green, or hazel depending on its pattern, lighting, and the observer. There is no single genetic signature marking the beginning of every green eye. The color may have appeared more than once as ancient genetic influences came together in different families. DNA cannot name the first green-eyed person. It cannot place the color's beginning inside one named people, tribe, or migration. But in a living person, it can still reveal something. Just not what the old myths promise. If your eyes are green, they reveal a real genetic history, just not one specific ethnic origin. In many green-eyed people, a major light eye-associated variant acts together with numerous smaller genetic influences. Some of these variants occur more frequently among populations with European ancestry, but they are older than today's national borders, ethnic labels, and cultural identities. That makes green eyes a clue to broad population history, not proof of one specific ancestor, ethnic group, or ancestry percentage. Eye color is only one small outcome within a much larger genome. Two people can have almost identical shades of green while reaching that appearance through different genetic pathways and very different family histories. Even within one family, the genetic potential can temporarily disappear from sight. A green-eyed grandparent may have brown-eyed children, followed years later by a green-eyed grandchild. It looks as though the color vanished, but the DNA tells a different story. Parents do not pass a finished eye color to their children. They pass shuffled segments of DNA. During the formation of egg and sperm cells, chromosomes are recombined into new arrangements. Each child therefore receives a different mixture of genetic influences, even when the parents are the same. A brown-eyed parent can carry the major variant associated with lighter eyes, while other influences still result in more melanin. When that variant is passed forward and combined with a different set of pigmentation influences from the other parent, the balance may shift toward green. This is often described as eye color skipping a generation. But the color did not travel through the family as one hidden object. Its genetic components did. They can remain inside combinations that produce a different visible color until a later child inherits the balance that makes green visible again. That apparent return holds the final clue. What survived was not the color itself. It was the genetic possibility of creating it again. One of the strongest variants associated with lighter eyes was already present among prehistoric hunter-gatherers. But green depended on how that variant interacted with numerous other genetic influences. Migrations carried those ingredients into changing populations. Inheritance rearranged them across families and generations. That is what DNA finally revealed. Not one first green-eyed tribe, not one pure bloodline, and not one traceable moment in which the color appeared forever. The origin of green eyes is not a single point on a map. It is an inheritance network, ancient genetic influences surviving population changes, entering new families, and repeatedly becoming visible in new combinations. That network follows a different path through every family. If green, gray-green, or hazel eyes run through yours, tell us who else has them and where your family's known roots lead. And if you want to follow the next trail, DNA opens into the human past, subscribe. Because when you look into green eyes, you are not seeing where one story began. You are seeing the moment many ancient histories became visible again.